struggle, now we stacking chips. Black Wall Street, we rebuilding from the pits. Politics and business, we beyond rich. Doni Glover Show, watch us shift the switch. Doni Glover Show by BMOnews.com. Spotlight on the hustle where the real ones come. Every episode, dropping knowledge, dropping bombs. Doni Glover Show by BMOnews.com. Talking black excellence, ain't no exclusivity. History is making, reclaiming our divinity. Break by break, rebuilding our community. Doni Glover Show, celebrate unity. Doni Glover Show by BMOnews.com. Spotlight on the hustle where the real ones come. Every episode, dropping knowledge, dropping bombs. Doni Glover Show by BMOnews.com. From the boardroom to the streets, we making waves. Business minds running, new paths paved. Politicians listen, they know we the brave. Black Wall Street, dreams rising from the grave. Doni Glover Show by BMOnews.com. Spotlight on the hustle where the
we have some stars in the building.
Doni Glover Show by BMOnews.com.
We'd like to welcome you to BMoreNews.com, the news before the news, where we uncover the truth. Special thank you to our executive producer of Be More News in Niagara, Mr. Emmanuel Price. We're up here on, this is the New York side, and that's the Canadian side, and we will be there for the New Year's dropping of the ball or somewhere around here. Very beautiful Niagara Falls, some of the best water in the world. So make sure you get out, get your passport, and do some traveling. And keep watching BMoreNews.com, the news before the news, where we uncover the truth. Welcome to BMoreNews.com, the news before the news, where we uncover the truth. Here on Atlantic, Mississippi, with our very dear friend Corey Mathis. A beautiful town, New Orleans. Keep watching BMoreNews.com. We're going to give you an update. 10 years since Katrina. The news before the news, where we uncover the truth.
Wall Street, we rebuilding from the pits. Politics and business, we beyond rich.
First name's Doni, last name's Glover. Entered the winner for the long haul, baby. Mr. Braxton Street, welcome to the show. How you doing?
Good evening, Mr. Glover, and all who's watching. Good evening. It's very nice to be here with you all tonight. I'm looking forward to a nice conversation.
Yes, we're here to talk about some candidates. Tell them who you are, Braxton.
I'm Braxton Street, native Baltimorean, member of the Democratic State Central Committee from District 40, graduate of the Baltimore Polytechnic Institute, graduate of Morehouse College, graduate of Johns Hopkins University, and currently a doctoral candidate at Morgan State University, getting my education doctorate in urban educational leadership. Just happy to be here.
So, Braxton, let's give them an update. Are you still running for office, for those that don't know?
For those that do not know, I have decided to end my bid for District 40 delegate because I was recently appointed to the State Board of Psychologists. So a little bit about that. You cannot serve both on the state board as well as on the legislature unless you have special permission. And I counted the honor to be appointed by the governor. So I'm happy for this honor. Looking forward to gaining more experience. And this is not the end of my political career by any chance. I will definitely still be around running for re-election to the State Central Committee, and I will be back around in 2030 if God says the same.
Okay, well, Braxton, we are with a legend here. Now, I know this was your first time, I guess, running for office, but this lady here is the one and only Cheryl Smith. She's over in the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
Okay.
And she runs a very special publication called Texas Metro News. Good afternoon, Cheryl. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you two doing?
Well, I'm all right now that I see your face. I'm just glad you okay, because I know y'all had been falling out your chairs in Texas.
Understatement. That's an understatement. And we're still going hard, and a lot is still going on. We still have a lot of healing to do.
Yes. Well,
but
look, before you get started, I got a special lady on the line, and she's Aunt Alice. How old you turn your recent birthday? You 63, 64?
I wish 88.
Oh,
Okay.
beautiful.
Alice Toriente, 88 years old, 88 years young, and she's a baby. But in terms of politics, she done seen a few things. And her daddy was a state senator here in Baltimore. As a matter of
Okay.
fact, my mama took me by the hand when I turned 18 and walked me to his house to get a scholarship, a state senatorial scholarship to go to Morehouse College.
Amen.
So, but she knows all things politics. Auntie, what did this man say something about the dead man? What did your president do now?
Oh his judge has ruled that the ballroom building is no more. But the other biggest news scandal has to do with Hester, the one who is the Secretary of Defense. It's alleged that he bet on some inside information regarding the war and made a ton of money. So there is an investigation about to take place on that.
What?
Yes. Yes. Because there was people were trying to wonder who had this inside information to make all of this money on this bet about war. They made a ton of money. So it appears now that was Hester, I could never say his name, the Secretary of War, which of course is putting us in a bad situation. Our military security is in question, and it's just a sad situation. So stay tuned for that one.
And I'm talking about Robert Mueller. Didn't he say he glad he was dead?
Yeah.
Yes, he certainly did. That was what yours president said. He's dead. I'm glad. And he won't be around to bother other innocent people anymore.
Okay, Auntie Alice, I gotta ask you about the Israel, Argentina, United States voting no as it relates to
reparations at the United Nations.
Yeah.
They were the only. Everybody else voted for it, and they were the three who voted against it.
What do you think about that?
Not to give I think it's a damn shame.
And then are we in a war right now having to do with Israel?
We absolutely are. We're tired of arm in arm with them, and both of them with Trump and Netanyahu both trying to stay out of jail.
So let me get this right. I am to send my children to war on behalf of a people that don't even. Okay, all right. I've heard enough. All right. Any thoughts on? We're gonna get back to Cheryl, but any thoughts on Jasmine Crockett? Because I want Cheryl. Cheryl is the editor of the Texas Metro, publisher of the Texas Metro News. I want her to know how we feel about Jasmine over this way. Now tell her.
I love her to know, and I understand she did not run a good campaign, and that the young man, whom I thought she was gonna wipe up the floor with, went and spoke with was very much in the Spanish community, and that was how he was able to pull off the win that he got. I understand he spoke Spanish. He advertised in the Spanish newspapers, and he went and asked the Spanish people for his vote. Now, the other thing with her, though, is that the Secretary of State did not allow the people in the capital city who were in line at 9 o'clock. She's got a special bill, or got special okay to allow them to vote if they were in line at 9 o'clock. Secretary of State had those votes taken away. So we don't know how many votes there were, if there were enough for her to overcome him. But anyway, the young man won, and that's what the deal is.
Well, are you proud of her campaign?
Oh, well, the little bit that I know about it, I'm not. Because I understand she did not run a good campaign. But I love her still. And so I just don't know. She's been in Congress, and I don't know what the deal was.
Well, we about to
So
get.
we gotta see if this young man is going to be able to stand up and win as a Democrat as opposed to the Republicans in Texas. I wasn't there all all I know is what I've read and heard. But I still love Jasmine Crockett, and I am sure that we'll see her again because they gerrymandered her district, and that is the reason why she was running for Senate in Texas. So she will, after her time is up, she will not be in politics anymore. So we got to see how she's going to reinvent herself and come back.
All right, well, let's listen in to Texas. Cheryl Smith, I know that's a tough thing to hear. I love Jasmine Crockett. I love her punching them people in the face every single day. Every single day. And she reminds me, she's like the counterbalance. You ever see Godfrey the comedian? He got this line of clips. Leave black people alone. Have you seen the Bob Dashiell?
No, I haven't seen that one.
Man, you all on Facebook, type in Godfrey comedian. He got these clips. Braxton, you saw him.
I'm looking it up now. I have not seen it.
Oh my God. He starts it off, leave black people alone.
You spent too much time on Facebook.
It makes me laugh. because in every video they tell them, go on now.
You know,
go on now. They get warned. They get ample warnings. But then they slip up and say the N-word. And then it's like Bernie Mac moving furniture.
Yeah. By the way, I heard you talking about the UN vote. The delegation of African countries has invited me to come to meet with them at the UN to redraft a resolution to delete the word reparation and insert restitution.
I'd love to go with you. Can we take Ray Winbush? I done planned your party.
Oh, okay.
I'll let you know right now. We're trying to firm up a date, but it looks like it's going to be near the end of May or 1st of June.
Cheryl, you know Ray Winbush?
I sure do. From decades ago.
That's my big brother, Morgan State University.
Really?
Well, my brother from another mother, but he's a soldier.
Yes, he is, and definitely. He used to do my show on KKDA back in the 90s.
Okay, well, say hello to Mr. Bob. He's an attorney here, Bob Dashiell.
Hello, Bob.
How do?
Doing well.
Very good.
So tell me about Jasmine out there, Cheryl Smith. I know you're busy in between all of the publications you got going on, but how did you feel when Jasmine, through her journey?
Okay, well, first I'll say if I could go backtrack, there were like 50 who abstained on that vote.
Oh, yeah.
We had America and Argentina where they voted. The main ones who benefited from slavery voted against it. But to talk about one thing, Jasmine Crockett is my congresswoman. She is in this district. I was in... Eddie Bernice Johnson was the only congresswoman I've had until Jasmine ran. And I will say she's very smart, very strategic. And I expected, even though she got in the race late, and that's what some people don't know because JT was running for governor of Texas. He was going to challenge Abbott. And the understanding is that the Democratic Party is, I won't call them punks anymore.
Why not?
Because I've got some other words for them. And I really feel they're anti-Black.
Damn right they are. They keep pushing us to the back of the bus.
And they really have dogged out the Black men that have run for Senate in the past. Former Dallas Mayor Ron Kirk and a state senator, Royce West. And I've watched them play the games with us and take us for granted. And so, I have no love if, I don't like the parties anyway, because I feel like when they all get in the room, they buddies and they do their thing for them.
Mm-hmm.
So, Jasmine Crockett running. First, we have to look at she got in the race late. And that was a problem because Taliaferro he had already had his troops together. He already had his troops together. He had already mobilized a lot of people, and many who thought he was going to run for governor. Then he switched and run for Senate. Basically, when you look at his work in Texas, you look at a person who seemed better suited to run for the things he talked about. What he wanted to do were more for the state of Texas, and so he was better suited to run for governor of Texas than he was to run for senator. But I will tell you this: I do believe that we can count on the Latin vote, which you might as well lump a lot of the Latin vote in with the white vote, because that is the mentality. And also you have this group of white women. Everyone says they're with us till it's time to go and vote. And then we see where the rubber meets the road. So we can't discount that. Now, could anytime anyone loses, we could say that they could have run a better campaign, and there were some things that needed to be done. There were things that needed to be done by the Democratic Party. When the Republican Party said, "Hey, we don't want you to be able to vote anywhere on election day. You can vote anywhere early voting, but election day you have to go to where you vote." After a decade of going anywhere you want to go. And come on, let's face it, getting us to the polls sometimes is you won the battle there. But when you start changing stuff up on folks, and Texas has some of the most repressive, devastating to us voter laws anyway. And so you had people, when they went to the polls, you would find that you had maybe 10 polling booths on one side of the room and 10 on the other, and there was an R or a D, so you go and vote. Well, in a lot of our precincts, in our communities where we're heavily concentrated, there will be a line out the door, around the corner, down the street for the D, and no one for the R. So you got 10 machines just sitting there and not being used. And you had people who were in line for 2 and 3 hours to vote. But then, you see maybe 5 people come in during that time in certain areas. So a lot of effort was made to disenfranchise voters. I feel that, and I love hearing the sister talk. I love to be there with her, just to hold on to her hand and let some of her energy come to me. Because when we look at what happened with that election, and you look at the Democratic Party should have used money during early voting to hammer in our heads that there's going to be problems on election day. Please come out and vote. We knew it was going to happen. It was foreseen. Dallas County poured in $1 million on to get the word out. They didn't do a good job of getting the word out, because you still had people. But $1 million, $1 million, and none of it went to. If there was a small portion, one Black-owned newspaper told me that they kept after them and they did an email blast for them. So maybe a few $100s or something like that out of $1 million. For the 7 Black-owned newspapers in this Dallas County, you could have spent 1% of the $1 million and made us happy, and we would have gotten out to more people and got the word out. So you didn't see that happening as well. And then we can't deny that there's some people that ain't gonna vote for a person that looks like us. I don't care what you say, they are gonna look for the closest thing to white to vote for. And they talked about Tallarico being a Christian, Congresswoman Crockett. Daddy is a preacher. You can talk about all those things. and what he looked like and what he did. Well, he came to my office last week. I don't know if I got a chance to tell you that, Donnie. And he was visiting he's going around, he's on to speak to the people, because folks were saying, even black folks, and the black folks, sometimes you get to me too, because you sound more white than white folks. And folks were saying, get over Jasmine lost, let's move on, we got to win this race for the Democrats in the general election. Where there are folks saying, forget the Democrats, because the Democrats are so dirty to black people. They don't give the support. They don't put the dollars in. I've seen what they did. Personally, I've seen what they did with other races. And so, to his credit, he's going around Dallas County and Tarrant County and the surrounding counties, meeting with folks. And one thing he's saying is, I know how you feel. I support Jasmine Crockett also. Therefore, I respect her. And so he's not telling us how to feel. Because when something happens to us, like what happened with Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo, they want, just forget it. They want to make excuses and everything. And this is what some people were doing with Jasmine Crockett, saying, okay, she lost, move on. And you don't tell me how to feel. You don't tell me how to grieve. I will do it in my own way. And don't tell me I'm going to get over it. Joe Smith has been dead for 22 years. I ain't over my daddy's death. And if I wake up at any given moment, let me handle the way I want to handle. What you need to be doing is talking about how you're going to bring us into the fold, how you are going to address our issues, how you're going to keep some of the things from happening that have happened continuously with the sorry, pathetic, my sister, my 80, how old is she, said 88?
88.
88-year-old sister. I hear you,
Alice
I feel
Oriente.
you. Yes, Miss Alice. My sister Alice. I understand. So that's what we're dealing with here. Could her campaign have been run better? There was some things, we were hired to put out signs. I expected to see more signs. Because she ran hell of races in the other races that she did. I didn't see as much of that this time, but she was trying to cover. Texas is a large territory that she's trying to reach, and you're trying to reach everybody. And, some people were looking for somebody close to what their beliefs were, and we're last on the list of being voted for. And that is a travesty, because she was well above being the most qualified. And and then we focus on a lot of things that we major in the minors, in a sense of talking about some of the things, it was January, it was Founders Day for a lot of organizations. She didn't need to be at every AKA Zeta, Sigma Gamma Rho, Delta, Links, or whatever. She didn't need to be at all of them. Y'all know she's been there for you all along. And so don't make her. Now there's some other people. There's some Colin Orez. There's some other people who needed to be at those events. But Jasmine Crockett was not one of them. And being in those trenches, I just say we have some work to do, but we have to stop being our biggest enemy. And how we become our biggest enemy is that we can't touch Trump, so we go in-house and tear each other down so much. And we have to stop that. And I'm telling you, even for these black women, God dog it, if Jasmine Crockett is walking funny, have your feet never been hurting you before? How the hell are you going to say something? If her hair is unkempt, has your hair been unkempt? Mine is...
How do we get to supporting?
Right,
how do we get to supporting our politicians like we support rap artists?
You say like we support rap artists? I think we need to stop discounting them, because I hear very few people talking about when Tupac died. Tupac was on a tour. He was talking about voter registration, education. That was not the Tupac that folks wanted you to see. We have to understand what the media, that's why the song is so relevant still today. Don't believe the hype. Because even as we deal with, especially as we deal with, because there is a lot of noise going on, because this is supposed to be a holiday today. And we see what's going on with Cesar Chavez. The height of hypocrisy. Why now? Why are we letting all these distractions have us off on a tangent about things? And we're taking Chavez's name off of everything. And we're actually adding Trump's name to things with the same, I'm just, trying to stay up. I wake up every day saying, what can I do to combat what that fool is doing? Or the people who sit around, or the people who want to not do their homework and find out what is really going on, and who think that you somebody's friend. You got to show me. And that's not what's happening with us. We have to realize that we have to hold that there are intelligent Republicans. There are intelligent Black Republicans. But the ones who don't spew stupidity are not the ones that they give a microphone to. They give us the ones who are anti-Black themselves. And we have to deal with that. So we have a lot of work to do. That's why your show is so important. And that is why I never say no to you. And that's hard because I've started saying no. I've even become so fluent in it. I know how to say it in Spanish because people will work you to death. And
No,
if you
we
don't
love
say
you.
no.
We love Texas Metro News. Everybody here. I want you go ahead, Mr. Bob. I heard you.
Yeah. A couple of things. One, I mean, Texas, the Texas Democrats or Democrats did a number of things.
Now you know this lady is the publisher over there. I don't want you to get her swung on over there. I
know, but hey, I'm from New Jersey.
First of all, with respect to the voting places, first of all, they closed down a lot of voting places. That's number one. Secondly, the idea, the practice where you could vote in the primary wherever you wanted was not law. It was only by agreement between the two parties. So the Democrats should have anticipated that the Republicans weren't going to agree this time, and they should have prepared for that. They should have prepared the voters for that. They should have said,
right.
Don't do it like you did it. Go to the one in your precinct because that's the only place you're going to be allowed to vote this time. They knew that well ahead of time. They knew they didn't have the Republican agreement to that. Secondly, we set the bar way too low. We still trying to be a part of the Democratic Party instead of taking over the Democratic Party.
Okay.
You see what I mean? We set the bar too low and we set it too high for among ourselves. We keep saying that Black people can't do nothing unless we all agree. We never all going to agree on nothing. So, and finally, and this might be heresy to some, because we lead the struggle don't mean we the only ones in the struggle. The color of oppression is green. It's not black or white. It's green. So we every time we ignore poor white kids and every time we ignore poor Hispanic kids saying they wouldn't with us and we leave them out there floundering to go somewhere and then we cry because they ain't with us when we need them. That's like Trump telling the Europeans, telling NATO, you ain't if you want the Strait of Hormuz, whatever the fuck it is, open, you gotta come help us do it. No, we gotta be broader in our thinking in that. We gotta be broad. Just because we lead the struggle don't mean we gotta be the only ones in it. We can take over the Democratic Party just like Trump took over the Republican Party. There ain't no more Republican Party. It's the Trump Party. But we can do that. And we got to stop believing what we can't do. Don't be telling me we ain't got enough money. Hell, David Trone spent 10 times more than Angela Alsabrook. And where is he sitting now? So it ain't about money. It's about getting off your asses and doing what needs to be done.
Well, I really have to tell you, though, I'm here with, when we look at the percentage of Latinos, which I thought that, when we consider what's going on with ICE and everything, we know that the numbers were impacted during the census. and we're coming up on another census. We have systems that don't work because you want to know what? The day after one census was over, they should have been working on fixing the things in preparation for the next one. Now it is 26 and it's right down the road from us. I will tell you, I got calls from the census apologizing to me because they said they spent money with all the other papers and that my papers were doing more than all of them put together. They actually paid a newspaper to stop printing, had not printed in years. They gave them 32 full-page ads. Now, I'm going to tell you, if I wasn't in the newspaper business and you gave me, let's say that a full-page ad was $5,000. 32 times 5,000. I start printing something tomorrow. And that's what was happening. It may not be worth it, John. I understand what you're saying.
I don't want to skate over this. You run a newspaper right now in Dallas, Fort Worth. I want people to understand 3 newspapers. I want people to understand the significance of having the black press cover the community, because you know it as well as I know it. We like Louis Vuitton. We like Tito's. But supporting a black newspaper, but yet as soon as somebody get in hot water, you can't
they
keep
call
them off
us.
your phone.
And that's what happened with the Democrats in Texas when they left Austin and went to Chicago and different places. We got the calls from them saying mainstream is not covering, and I try to be there. The distinction that I have, and I guess because I'm a Gemini, I have that FAMU degree in journalism, and then I have a degree in business. So there's like the business person sitting on one shoulder and the journalist person sitting on the other. So I bring a different perspective to things when we're talking about newspapers. And I will tell you one thing that is happening in here that I see. Hispanics are making their moves. And they're making their moves, and they're making their moves for Hispanics. I found that a number of Black elected officials are saying, well, we got to give this seat. We got to act. Basically, they're saying we have to acquiesce to Latinos, and they aren't doing that for us. They going in there and trying to get their seat. So we're fighting against that, and then we're fighting against the mentality of people that, come on, a lot will never vote for us. The white woman stands there. They want us to march with them, wear some cat hats or all this other stuff. And then what did they do? They went home and they voted for Trump. So, and Sister Alice, I know you said, yes, Jasmine Crockett will not be an elected official come January 1st, 27, but she's not out of politics. And that could be the worst nightmare for some people, because some people, you need to keep them with a title, because unleashed, you don't know what you're going to get. And she is going to be on it. And so she's not leaving politics. And she has a very bright future. I just wish we realized that all ice is 32 degrees Fahrenheit. That means ain't nobody else ice colder than ours. And I wish that we would get behind. And if a candidate is not what we want them to be, see how we can help them to be it. Colin Allred is running an entirely different race now than the race that he ran. I went to a forum and
you giving it all.
One Black person on the stage with him, and everybody else was white, and he was not in our community. He's everywhere in our community now because he's listening to people, and that gives me hope for him.
Michelle, I want to thank you for taking time out of your very busy day. How can people find Texas Metro News? Tell them where you at.
Holla, you can go to TexasMetroNews.com, and that's the main place where you can find us. We have a daily newsletter, and you can reach me. We're on all platforms. We have Texas Metro News, Garland Journal, and iMessenger. And, national newspaper publishers, wherever you are, there are Black newspapers in your market. And we need to realize after 199 years, what I'm doing right now and why I'm here with you and out there is I don't want
my moderator is running late. So, which is listen.
I don't want in the future for when we're gone, for them to say, what did they do to make sure we have another 199 years? I'm trying to support my people, and one clear way that I was ready to do with Jasmine what I did with Vice President Harris, and that was soon as she was running, every week on my front page of my paper, I had something about Kamala Harris. And I was going to do the same thing with Jasmine Crockett. If we don't fight for each other, who we expect? We can't get mad when others don't. And I'm doing a blackity black thing for my future.
Cheryl, we appreciate you so much. The one and only Cheryl Smith from Dallas, Fort Worth. We got to get to these other candidates.
Yeah, because I wanted to hear from Sister Alexis, but okay, but you can kick me to the curb. I'll go back to Texas and work on my papers. I do
but I'm sure Auntie Alice wanted to say something before you go. Go ahead, Auntie.
Oh, absolutely. I concur with what you said about the Democratic Party not always being on point. And I love Jasmine Crockett, and I'm sure we're going to hear and see her again. And there are lots of other people who do. Many of them are not in Texas. And unfortunately, when Texas did the redistricting, I looked at all of those hearings. And I looked at the people who came to testify against the redistricting that was done in Texas. But that was done on purpose.
It didn't.
And her district was redistricted on purpose. But I am sure that is not the last we've heard of her. And I thank you for sharing what you shared, because I was not on the ground there. So I had to rely on what I read and what I heard.
Well, you got to make sure you check out Texas Metro News, because.
But now that I know about it, I will.
Well, you got 8 black newspapers out there, she told me.
And I had 3 of them, and I'm the baby of the bunch, but I'm strong and solid, and that's because I lived a black press, black college, black church, black beans.
Okay, we got to bring up this guy. He's in between stops. Julian Jones, come on in. How you doing? Unmute yourself.
I'm doing wonderful, Donnie. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry.
No. I'm saying it's good to see your distinguished guest. Always good to see you and good to see your guest.
Yes. So, folks who don't know, there's your boy Bob Dashiell right there. Julian is running to become the first African-American to be county executive in Baltimore County. They had all white men. Going back to Harriet Tubman.
Well, Donnie, number one, you're absolutely right. And I tell people this all the time. It's not lost on me that I will become the first African-American county executive. But to be very clear, I am by far the most qualified person to do this job at this moment in time. Having served on the council for 12 years, which is more experience than anyone else in the race, having been the chairman the first African-American chairman, but then the first person in the history of Baltimore County to be chairman 3 years in a row. And lastly, I've been chairman a total of 4 years. You can put all the experience together from the other folks running for this race, and they won't amount to what I just told you.
All right, tell me, one of your opponents sided, Izzy Patoka sided with 3 Republicans, is my understanding, to create a map. Now, before you got on, you may have heard we were talking about Democratic loyalty. We got to get his thoughts on that. Any thoughts on the lack of Democratic loyalty from your opponent? Is he a Republican? Oh, you muted yourself. Jeez, I know what happened. You're gonna have to go out and come back in. Yeah, once you do that, he kind of messed up his whole thing there. Bob, any thoughts on that, Bob? Then we got to bring in Alexis. She's been so patient. Hi, Alexis.
Well, I had Julian on my podcast last Friday, Money, Power, and Politics. Enough is enough, and I agree that he is the most qualified person running for the race on either side, Democrat or Republican. I think that it is unfortunate that there are some members of our community who are still drinking the Kool-Aid. That's not Kool-Aid I got here, by the way. That's super tea. But there's some in our community who are still drinking the Kool-Aid from that barrel. Here's Julian back.
Let's check your sound. Yeah, the sound's not. No sound.
Well, I think I think that it is important for everybody in Baltimore County, particularly the Black folks in Baltimore County, to support Julian Jones for county executive for all the reasons that he indicated. And I'm waiting to see. Donnie, I'm waiting to see some of our other Black officials with endorsements. Is Adrian Jones endorsed anybody in the race yet, Donnie? Hello.
Keep going. I got a parade going by.
Oh, has Adrian Jones endorsed anybody in the race that you know of?
So biology is my thing. Oregano.
Can y'all answer I can't hear.
I don't know if anybody can anybody hear me?
What were you saying, Bob?
Yes,
Yeah, I asked a question. Has Adrian Jones endorsed anybody in the race?
She been quieter than she been quiet. I almost said it. She's been quiet. But everybody expects her to. I mean, she's obviously with Robin Harvey and with Julian.
Okay.
I've not gotten any indication she's not with Julian. Now, if you name some other names, I'll tell you they are missing in action, and we're not tolerating any of that. Let's try it. Mr. Exec, you there? Yeah, I think you left.
Another TikTok user saying, "Oh, it's just $7.99, and then the shipping turns out to be $10. I'm going to lose my mind."
So, I don't know. Braxton, what are your thoughts? You've been quiet.
I certainly agree with the future county executive that he certainly is the most experienced candidate in the race. I am wanting to hear his thoughts about the coalition that he's building, and hopefully he can come back on, because I think that's going to be key to being successful in a county like Baltimore County.
Oh, that's polite. Okay. Alexis, come on, tell us about your run.
Good evening, everyone. And it looks like Donnie has teamed up with a lot of people with great experience, and I'm definitely one of them in my race. It's unfortunately about 25 people. I say unfortunately, but I think that's a great thing that a lot of people are actually filing to run for office. I think that's a great reflection of what our country now looks like, is that the community is now very much interested to be involved in holding elected office. So that's a great sign of everyone wanting to be more involved and seeing a change, and that's really important. But for my race, fortunately enough, I am the only experienced candidate out of the 25 that is qualified to take on the position. I'm actually conducting the position roles and responsibilities and what I do on a daily basis. I oversee federal, state, and local government contracts professionally. For community service, I'm very active in the community. I've served on many different boards, many nonprofits, ranging from the American Red Cross, the Southern Maryland chapter, which oversees a lot of the district that I'm running for office for. In addition to living in Maryland for over 30 years, I'm a fourth generation Marylander. So this is definitely my home.
So let us get a question in there.
Absolutely.
I see you, candidate. Alice Toriente, you still with us?
I'm right there.
So Alexis Solis is running for the seat that Steny Hoyer left in the fifth district.
Right. Did Steny endorse her? He endorsed her, but I thought he endorsed a black female.
No, he endorsed a black male.
Oh, it's a black male?
Uh-huh.
Okay, sorry about that.
But Alexis says she can spank him.
All right, let's see her do it.
He endorsed his former campaign manager, who doesn't hold a lot of professional background, overseeing billion-dollar budgets the way that I do.
Okay. Let's check your mic. Let's try him again, Mr. County Exec. You there with us? Let's check your mic.
Yes, sir.
Praise God. Okay, all right. So go ahead, Alexis. Why should people vote for you, Alexis?
They should vote for me because I'm the only qualified person. They should vote for me because I've been advocating for our great state for over 15 years. Win, lose, or draw, I continue to do the work. I've done the work before filing for office. I've done the work serving and representing many different elected officials currently until I decided to have a seat at the table myself after gaining so many different years of experience at the federal, state, and local level, working on nonprofits. After losing my mother to mental health, I definitely have a passion to serve, to make sure that my voice is heard, to support our community, amongst many others that have a similar story of a broken healthcare system. So I'm fighting for our communities to make sure that healthcare is a human right. I'm also fighting for the small minority business owners that have unfortunately lost a lot of their contracts. I don't know if you guys have been following a lot of the executive order updates. A lot of minority businesses are going to be losing current contracts, which means a lot of Black business owners. And as an Afro-Latina, as a woman also, the women-owned businesses, the minority, Latin-owned, Black-owned, just minorities as a whole. And Cheryl, to your point, great background, and I appreciate your advocacy out in the community as well. It's definitely important that we stick together as a community and not divide as minorities. It's very important that we all build allies together. Doni, you're mute.
Ain't you Afro-Latino?
I am Afro-Latina.
It ain't the Afro part that's acting up. It's the Latino part. They the ones getting all new. Vote for Mr. Trump. Vote for Mr. Trump. And then their ass get deported.
Nicaragua.
Nicaragua, yes. From Leon.
Solis, S-O-L-I-S.
Okay.
Solis, yep.
Okay, Mr. County Exec, what's the struggle like out there? You got Black, white, Latino, Jewish. You got a whole melting pot in Baltimore County.
Well, you're absolutely right, Donnie. But you know, the beauty is this. The struggle is real, but we're built for it. We're used to it. I don't know what it is, not the struggle. So I'm good. We're going to make it happen.
Now, so Miss Solis mentioned about her mom and the challenges she dealt with her mom's mental illness. You just lost your mom, and
yes,
that is a hell of a thing. Now, was your mama setting you up for the slam dunk? I mean, did she go around this time just to give you a push in the polls?
No, I don't think so. My mother, my mother was very, very.
She said she could do more as an angel than she could down here. She could smack some people like never before from up there.
Well, that could be. Every time I would see my mother, she would go into, "Are you going to win?
That's right.
How's everything looking?"
That's right.
I would have to break it down for her. And, my mother, God bless her, and I'm sure she's in heaven right now smiling down at me and an angel. But, Donnie, we're going to do all right. I heard a couple of things I heard while my phone was acting up because, when people are calling me is messing up the phone. But number one was about endorsements. So we will be rolling out some very serious endorsements at the right time. So right now we've been strategizing on when and where. That's the first thing. The second thing I heard you talk about was the piece with redistricting. And I mean, basically what happened in Baltimore County, you have 4 Democrats, you have 3 Republicans. I've been here for 12 years. And basically the Democrats for the first 8 years sort of ran things here in Baltimore County. But we have a Democrat who decides that he's okay with voting with Republicans. And in the case you're talking about redistricting, he voted in favor to protect the Republican, to give them more representation than they deserve, literally disenfranchising tens of thousands of Democrats, many of them African American, and then turn around and says, oh, I'm going to try to make it like I'm going to divide your community up even more to try to give you more seats, when in fact, all you're doing is dividing us up and you're ignoring one half of Baltimore County
Do
by
the black people
conceding.
out there know that he's connected to Martin O'Malley? Do they know Izzy Patoka is
No,
Martin O'Malley's boy?
I don't know, because a lot of times he will talk about his experience, what he did with the city, what he did with the state, but he never says the word O'Malley.
Lock
He'll
him up,
talk about
O'Malley.
his
Lock him up. Lock
experience,
him up.
but he'll never mention who he was working for.
He worked for Martin O'Malley. Lock him up. They locked up black people like it was going out of style, like they was having a sale or something.
Well, look,
Okay.
Donnie, here's the thing. We're going to win the election, but what we need is every person under the sound of my voice and under the sound of your voice. And look, Donnie, I really appreciate you. I mean, I'm grateful for you because, well, getting back to the pledge, right? We need everybody to stand up, step up, get involved, get engaged, knock on some doors, make some phone calls, give us a call at JulianEJones.com, and you know what I mean, join the movement, because that's what it's going to take for us to win. Now, getting back to you, Donnie, when the guy came here or start writing crazy stuff about how black people are too smart and too evolved to vote for the black man, it was you who stood up. It was you who called him out. It was you who spanked him. And I appreciate it very much. We need more of you. So thank you so much. I
This is
wanted to
what
just
you
put
don't
that out
know.
there.
Mr. Bob promised me a vacation down to the Gullah Islands if I would beat them people up for you. So I said, my pleasure. I'm going to the Gullah Islands because of you. You thought I was going to say Disney World. I want to go to the Gullah Islands.
There you go. Nothing wrong with that.
So Cheryl, as you see, the fight is real over here. And y'all don't know Cheryl from the East Coast.
Newark, New Jersey. Yes,
She
I
from Brick
am.
City, you heard.
Yes.
There you go.
East Orange High School, and I'll be back there this summer. And I'm invigorated and I'm excited to hearing the candidates, because folks, we're dealing with something called ageism also, because people are saying, leave office. There are some elected officials who I would rather have them in office comatose than some of the young people who haven't done their homework, have never served, think that they are running to be a celebrity.
Mm-hmm.
Than to have them sitting up representing us. And I just say we have to find a way. And Win with Black Women is doing everything it can. Black Lives Matter. There are a number of folks who are out there. And I just say that we don't have the formula, but guys, we got to stop going to people begging all the time, though. And we have to realize what works for us. What was really ironic for me during an election was that it was during COVID. And you had these Cupid dolls and stuff they were buying billboards. What the heck? They were telling people to stay home. Who was going to see the billboards? But I guess they just like riding by and seeing themselves on a billboard, when that money could have been used for calls, for door knockers, for all kinds of things. We have to be really strategic. And one thing also, we have to stop employing those consultants. Now, I'm going to tell you one thing about...
You talking about paying them white boy consultants who then go to the black consultants and want to subcontract us.
But then, and even as inexperienced as those white consultants are, and we have the inexperienced black ones also who want to be the candidate and don't know what they need to do to get the word out. But you had a number of people, they were working the Harris campaign, who a few years before, they were working campaigns, and then they started organizations. A lot of these organizations that got multi-million-dollar deals during the Harris campaign election, they hadn't been doing anything in the business. And then you have also in our community,
don't we blame Kamala Harris for that? I mean, there were companies...
They've been so disrespectful of Vice President Harris, even so much to the extent, if she were a white woman or a black man, you wouldn't hear all this talk about who's going to be on a ticket next time, and her name is missing from those conversations. They wiped her out as soon as that election was over, started talking about everyone from even someone who I absolutely love and adore, and his name rhymes with adore, but he's and he's the only governor that looks like he could have came from my mama, and in the country.
Oh,
But
you talking about Westmore?
yeah, oh, look, it took a little time for you there.
It
But
did. It
it's
did.
like we need to get consultants out there who are strategic, who know the numbers, who do the work, and then we got to stop. We saw something happen this time. We didn't talk about it. We have a female district attorney, the first time a black female elected district attorney, and she ran against the incumbent. And people thought the incumbent was going to win because he has what they call a great white hope. This white man who people pay 5 figures to run their campaigns, and the candidates actually don't want to run against his candidates because they say, oh, his candidates are going to win all the time.
Well, let me tell you about this guy right here. This guy, Julian Jones, he supported Kwesi and Fume. He supported Westmore. He supported Angela also Brooks. And all of them people, we done already seen Kwesi show up, but we need to see them other ones show up for him.
Yeah,
Well,
and
you know, Donnie, I'm gonna say this. I'm the only one in this race that has done those things.
Well, see, and that's what happened with Jasmine. She brought a lot of people in. You take you back to 88 with Jesse, then you had all these people roll Jesse into their positions. But when they were out there, they were just riding on his coattail, but they weren't out there saying strongly, vote for Jesse, vote for Jesse. Same thing with Jasmine. There were a lot of people, they just wanted to be seen with Jasmine Crockett, but they were not saying, they were not all thumbs down. And then I really have to say to these people who are elected officials, if you are not out there campaigning, not just when your name is on the ballot, you need to be campaigning every time there is an election. You need to be campaigning every day, because you say your name isn't on the ballot. I submit to you that all of our names are on the ballot. All of our names are on the ballot every time, because our issues, our livelihood, everything, every campaign, we need to be out there campaigning and getting people to the polls.
But because Cheryl makes the point, and I say it again, and again, it might be heresy. Just because we lead the struggle doesn't mean we're the only ones in the struggle. The color of oppression is green. And as long as we think it's our burden alone to change the system, it will not happen. We black or white is a subset of the real dividing line among the population, which is those who have way too much and those who ain't got hardly enough. That's the dividing line. And that dividing line has never changed. But they've given everybody in the ain't got too much category all kinds of reasons to blame each other for what they ain't got. We got to get rid of that. We got to.
Well, do you think also, Robert, that we need to get those who, and a lot of Latinos are seeing this, do we need to get them to realize you in the same boat with us also? Because you act like nothing is affecting you until Pepe or Juan or Jesus is being deported.
You are exact with not just the Latinos, but also the poor. I tell people in Baltimore City, look,
who get SNAP benefits.
Look, not just SNAP, but I told a recent mayoral candidate I said, you got to put on your most Afrocentric garb, the thing you have, get a director of where they have the next KKK meeting in South Baltimore, in Pigtown or wherever, and go there and crash the damn meeting and say, look, you got a choice. You can either hate me and hang me for who I am and what I wear, or recognize that your kids are just as dumb as mine because they're in the same damn school system. So we're either going to work together to change the system for both of our kids, or you can keep on hating me and let your dumbass kids come home and remain dumb the rest of their lives, just like mine will without your help. See, we've got to stop assuming, because that's the problem. The coalition that we need as black people is not with the white folks at the Center Club. They're the ones that fool you. Them the ones that tell you they with you, go home and vote for you. We got to form the white folks who go home and ain't got no chicken in their pot and sipping on broth just like us. That's where the coalition's got to be made.
Braxton, come on in. You got to take your microphone.
It's like double dutch.
My question is, how do you get those folks to wake up?
What do you say, Braxton?
How are you going to get them to wake up? Like,
one at a time.
I agree with everything you're saying, but when does the light bulb turn on?
One at a time, Braxton. One at a time. David didn't build the temple. Solomon did. So I don't care. I might not live to see it, but that don't mean I can't live to make it happen.
Jump in.
One at a time.
When I was in Iowa and the Obama campaign.
Did we lose Donnie?
No, not at all. I'm just watching.
Donnie, we can't hear you.
I can't hear Alice.
On the floor in sleeping bags.
We had dead air.
Headquarters. And
my radio days won't let me let that dead air. People will switch off when you have dead air. Donnie, are you there?
I'm here loud and clear. You don't see me?
We can't hear you. We having technical problems. And
hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay.
You know,
so
Braxton
Braxton,
asked
go
a
ahead,
really
get your
good
final words
question
just so we can get
about
out of here,
wake
Braxton.
folks up. Donnie, we can't hear you.
Okay. Okay.
You're not coming through. Does anyone hear me? Raise your hand if you hear me.
I hear you. I hear everybody.
Okay, well, Donnie, we can't hear you.
They do. You don't. It's okay.
And
Braxton,
the
go ahead.
sign language is not working either.
Okay. Braxton, sum it up for us. We getting ready to get up out of here.
We cannot hear him, but he's gonna come back. He's saying something really profound. Let's believe that, okay? We just can't hear you, Donnie.
Okay. All right. Well, we're gonna call it a wrap, Cheryl, okay?
And we still cannot hear you.
All right. So Braxton, wrap it up for me. We're gonna call it a wrap, bud.
I'm gonna take what Attorney Dashiell just said one at a time. And that's just going to be my mantra for the next week, month, for the rest of the year, one at a time.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Mr. Bob, any final thoughts? When you on the air again?
Friday morning, 10 o'clock.
What station?
Money, Power, and Politics. Enough is enough. You can find us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and whatever else is out there. I don't know.
Good stuff. Thank you for joining us this evening. We will be back Thursday night, 8 o'clock for Indigenous Series.
All righty.
Good evening, world.
Good night.